So Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington takes place in the main event of UFC 245 next weekend. I can't wait for this shit, okay? This is one of my most anticipated fights of the year, and it should be one of yours as well. We get to see what the future of the welterweight division looks like right now, and the welterweight division, I don't know if you just noticed, has become the most popular division in all of the UFC. Everything's going on. You've got Jorge Masvidal, you've got McGregor moving up to 170. There's shit going down, okay? And Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman is one of the best fights. I like this, okay? I think that Colby Covington is going to win. And hear me out, okay? And hear me out. I picked Colby Covington over everyone. I picked him over RDA, picked him over Robbie Lawler, picked him over Damian Maia. I'm picking him again over Kamaru Usman, and here's why. I think there's something to getting a guy at the right time, and timing is everything in MMA, okay? And here's how I'm going to clarify some things. Rafael dos Anjos fought Kamaru Usman after being mauled and lost to Colby Covington on the downslope of his career. I think there's something to getting a guy after someone else has just beat him that doesn't quite credit you the same as if you beat the guy when he was on a massive win streak. Because Rafael dos Anjos fought the same style back to back. You know how draining that must have been on his mind to lose that same way twice in a row. I feel like Colby Covington deserves more credit for the Rafael dos Anjos win. Deserves more credit for the Damian Maia win. More so because I just recently watched the Damian Maia versus Kamaru Usman fight. Why the fuck did they separate it in the first round? I just got another look at it. I just got another look at it recently on UFC Espanol on YouTube. Okay, shout out them. And it was such a blatant, stupid error from the referee that could have changed the entire fight. It was the first round. Neither of them were sweaty. Damian Maia, first round, has one hook in on your back and is probably going to get the other one. Ridiculous that they did that. There was never a moment like that in Covington versus Maia. And if you look at the fights between the two of them, Maia took more damage over 3 rounds against Covington. But Covington took it to him. You know, Kamaru Usman, a lot of people talk about his pacing, but he doesn't fight the same pace. It's the same reason why Holloway beats Ortega. People look at Ortega and think, oh, he does great here. But then you fight a guy that sets a different pace and sets his own pace, and you fail. You know? I think Kamaru Usman's going to run into that. If you look at Kamaru Usman, he doesn't have the same pace as Colby Covington at all. I think the argument that people are making that they do exactly the same thing, but Kamaru Usman hits harder and is bigger and more powerful, so he's the favourite. I don't understand that because they don't do anything the same. Colby Covington, and I'm going to quote Luke Thomas. I'm not just going to regurgitate something Luke Thomas said, okay? I'm going to quote him here. Luke Thomas said, great research from Luke Thomas, Colby Covington does like 90% of his damage on the feet. Kamaru Usman does it on the floor. That's two completely different styles. Two completely different styles. And I can't wait to see it. I feel like Kamaru Usman is going to be coming in the first round, probably doing quite well against Colby Covington. I could see him probably doing quite well in the second round as well, where the strength and the power of Kamaru Usman comes into effect in the first 2 rounds, where he's fresh and he's big and he's kind of muscling Colby around a little bit. But then in the second round, or the start of the third round, I feel like we're going to see a switch in things, because I feel like Colby's going to be one of the first guys who's really going to shoot with intention against Kamaru Usman. If you go back and watch the Tyron Woodley fight with Kamaru Usman, Woodley was shooting, and if you watch his foot movement when he's actually shooting for these takedowns, he immediately circles to the center of the cage. He's not doing that to take down Kamaru Usman, okay? If you watch his takedown attempts in the Kamaru Usman fight, he literally grabs a leg and spins Usman around and then lets go. He was trying to get to the center of the cage because Usman kept him backing up. Colby Covington probably is going to back up in the first round. I can just see Colby Covington being a good enough counter wrestler. The credentials are all there for Covington. He's quite a big guy for the weight class as well. A lot taller. Maybe that's going to mess with Kamaru Usman a little bit. And I just think the constant counter-attacks and counter-shots from Colby Covington are going to start to put Kamaru Usman off. He's going to be fighting at a different pace than he's used to, because Usman's used to setting the pace. Colby Covington throws 10-punch combinations against you against the cage, okay? Takes you down over and over and over again. Kamaru Usman gets you down with one big power move and then establishes position, which Colby Covington never does. He only looks to kind of allow you up and then drag you back down again. He's very Khabib, Edson Barboza in the way that he does it. But Kamaru Usman settles in position and damages you to the body. On top, spreads his body weight diagonally across your chest. Smashes you to the body. Then he tries to land some shots up front. But he just establishes position and it's completely different pacing. He's not doing the amount of work that Colby is. Once he established his position, he's just got to settle. Woodley's working completely now. But Colby Covington sets his own pace. I swear to God, guys, I thought about this one, and I think I've got it right. I could be wrong, and I could be embarrassed humiliatingly by Kamaru Usman catching Colby Covington on the chin, which is a very viable outcome of this fight. Kamaru Usman could win this. I think he is a favourite because he beat Woodley. That's justified. I'm picking Colby Covington here. I feel like a lot of people are blinded by hatred when it comes to Colby. He's fucking good, okay, guys? Ben Askren was talked about as a phenomenal wrestler coming into the UFC, okay? A phenomenal wrestler. He fought Robbie Lawler. Did Colby Covington ever have a moment against Robbie Lawler where Lawler was throwing him above his head and smashing his head into the ground? There was never that moment. Colby Covington's credentials in wrestling outweigh Kamaru Usman's. His experience in the UFC outweighs Kamaru Usman's as well when you think about it. Usman's been a little bit more active since he's joined, but Colby Covington's been doing this for a very long time. I just feel like Colby's going to win. He trains at a great gym. So does Kamaru Usman, but I just feel like it's Colby's time now. The Lawler fight, Usman's, and again, I talk about timing, and I think I started with this point, and then just never mentioned it whatsoever throughout the video. Timing. Colby Covington just fought a guy. Robbie Lawler did very well, took barely any damage, completely beat the shit out of the guy, came out of that fight, and now he's straight back into camp. Gets his eye healed, I hope. That's a big equation, we'll get to that in a second. Colby Covington fights a guy, comes back. Usman's been injured with a knee injury, okay? He's coming back from a knee injury, and what's he going to be doing most of when fighting a guy like Colby Covington? He can't run already, okay? It's going to be a very hard training camp to train for pace and cardio with a knee like that. You can't just hit pads. You know, you can't get in that kind of shape, and I feel like that's a big thing coming into this fight. Colby Covington's been active now. He was gone for a very long time, and I think if Colby Covington didn't fight Lawler and just jumped straight back into Usman, he'd probably lose. Comes back, beats Lawler. Fingers crossed he got the eye injury healed, because that was a fucking horrible injury. If that got caught in the Lawler fight, he would have been called off completely. Especially if it was in New York as well, because you know about that fucking guy. Fucking doctor. But Colby Covington, I hope he got his eye healed. That's going to be a big thing in this fight, because Usman likes to elbow against the cage. I just don't see Usman being able to bully him, and I see Colby Covington taking over from the third round or the end of the second. But I'm going to give the first two to Usman. 2 rounds to Usman. Colby Covington from the end of the second, but not enough to win the round. Then the third, fourth, and fifth to secure the unanimous decision victory over Kamaru Usman. Then we get to see Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. Then we get to see Colby Covington versus whoever else that they want to put him against, because that would be interesting. Tyron Woodley, who cares? We got 2 separate belts at welterweight right now. They can both do their own thing, and we'll get double the weight classes. They could just say the BMF belt represents 165. And we'll get our fucking weight class that way, okay? We're going to have to go to new lows to succeed in getting that weight class we've wanted for so long that they're never going to give us. 165 pounds is the BMF belt. Masvidal decides what he wants with it because he's a big star. McGregor decides what he wants to do because he's a big star. And they control the UFC. Because right now, if the UFC loses Masvidal, Conor McGregor, Donald Cerrone, all of their big stars, they could be fucked. All they have is Adesanya. I hate to say it, but not anyone cares about John Jones anymore. And no one really cares about Miocic or DC anymore. We're out of stars. So if they could all revolt and mutiny on the UFC and make the BMF belt the 165 pound division, the money weight class, that would be a potential way we would have it. I look forward to it. Very nice stuff. Very nice stuff. I can't even remember what I was talking about. Covington versus Usman. I'm picking Covington. I think he's going to win. I'm rambling, but I have some stacks and fates. I have some facts and statements, okay? I have CTA, I'm sorry. But I definitely think he wins. And I look forward to the matchups in the future. But if Usman wins, it's still good. Because Usman gets the star power from Colby. Usman needs Colby, okay? Colby could fight anyone for the belt and it would be personal. Because that's Colby's thing. But Usman is a guy that's not too likeable himself. But because he's fighting Colby, he's seeming likeable. So he needs this. Woodley would need this as well. They need Colby around. And hey, if Colby loses to Usman, and Woodley hasn't signed to fight anyone yet, like he's still doing for the past fucking ages, Woodley versus Covington would be a great fight if Covington loses. In the meantime, for the next title shot, sign me up. And then Leon Scott can just chill on the sidelines some more. We'll see what happens. Good shit at welterweight. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. This card is amazing. I can't wait. Good shit. back on track with the UFC. Click that button now. Goodbye.